Seabird 198, one localizer established, descend RS.
177 localizer, send RS, 21.
Seabird 198, could you give me a wind check, please?
Showing 240.
So welcome to Ishkashir. Right now we're going to do the walk around the airplane, have a complete look that everything's okay. It's a 319 today, so I'll just walk you through the walk around of the airplane, just making sure that everything's in order for our takeoff in just about 1 hour. So as we get closer to the aircraft, first thing we're going to look is the general aspect of the aircraft. We have the pitot tubes. We want to make sure that both are free, a clean surface. The avionics access door is closed. We look down at the nose, make sure that the radome is clean, has no marks on it, no strikes. The static port has to be completely free, no bugs on the static ports, and also the pitot on the co-pilot side. As we get closer, we'll get a look at the nose wheel. We get a look at both nose wheel lights, look at the strut, have a look at the wheels, make sure that the shock absorber is still inflated. No hydraulic leaks, no fluid, nothing on it. It's a clean one. The avionics door on the other side is closed as well. Static ports are clean. Just checking the bulk underneath the aircraft, just making sure it's free, no bumps on it. Coming on the engine, we look at all sides, making sure that everything is closed. The major marker is under the engine. There's an outlet. If there comes fuel below it, that's we know that the engine has a problem. We have a look at the engine itself, make sure that all the fan blades are correct, that we didn't take any stones or anything that could have damaged actually the engine. We see here it's perfectly clean. We look on the side for no bird strike or anything like that. Coming on this side, all the access panels have to be closed. And then we look at the back of the engine, the back of the fan, and also the back of the hot air of the engine. No sign of birds, no sign of anything on that side. Thank you. All right. So, coming back at our engine, we check the pylon of the engine, making sure that one's okay. The fix to the wing, leading edge, all the slats have to be retracted in good condition. We walk down, just making sure that the magnetic fuel level checks are closed. Getting to the end of the wing, we have a look at the winglet. Winglet still okay. All the static discharger, you have 4 of them. 4 should be on that and 5 should be on the wing. As we walk back down, we'll have to look at the flaps. Flaps on the way are looking good. Flap tracks are not damaged. Flap track on this side, it's a big one and it's still in order. We check the wheels on both sides, no cups, no tread in the tires. Making sure that the whole gear, the body gear, no fluids, no hydraulics, nothing leaking. We have 2 brake checks. This is to check that our brakes are within limits. And again, we check the tires on both sides, checking the strut. Minimum strut extension has to be correct as well. And as this way, we walk back to the back of the engine, back to the fuselage, just looking for any bruises on the airplane. The outflow valve has to be clear, nothing on the outflow valve. The door of the access for the flight recorders are closed. and we get to the tail of the airplane. Tail of the airplane, the stabilizer with a static discharge at the end, and on the rudder, same thing, static discharge on the upper rudder. On this side, we want to check the rest disc for the APU fire bottle discharge, making sure it's still red. If the red would be gone, the fire bottle is discharged. Looking under the fuselage for any scrapes. And we come back to the main landing gear. Same thing we want to check. Both wheels are correct. We have the brake markings are okay. And we have the strut, which is in good order. Checking the complete body gear. No hydraulics leaking. Back to the front, checking the tires again. The front side of the landing gear, tire on the outside. As we walk out, we watch for the flaps, the flap tracks. We still have the 5 discharger on the aileron. We have 4 on the winglets. Moving to the forward edge of the wing, we're looking at the slats. Slats are all leveled. There's no dent, no traces of birds. Coming back to the engine, access panel is closed. Engine, again looking underneath, there's no fuel leaking, no oil leaking. Inside the engine, looking at the fan blades. We didn't pick up any stone. On the side, again, access panels, everything has to be closed. Come back to the fuselage. Static ports is free, and the avionics cooling is working. So by doing this, we've been around the whole aircraft. We've seen it all the way from the front to all the way to the end, from one wing to the other. We've seen that there is nothing outside. It's perfect. We're ready to go.
Efendim? Abi kapının önünde bekleyecekler, onların haberi var. Girerlerse gelen yolcu tarafından girsinler. Yes. Thank you.
Now we're back in the aircraft, back to proceed back to Brussels. In just a few minutes we'll be doing the briefing for the entire cockpit. Going through the procedures on takeoff, although there's not that many procedures here published. Most of the procedures here are for visual approaches. So we'll go through a brief and make sure that we've covered everything as while the passengers are embarking for the moment. Ready for the checks?
Ready.
So QNH 1012, I have 2,600 feet.
02 reading 2,600 feet.
So I fly the 319, take off with max off, engine anti-ice off. It's a takeoff runway 27, full runway length in config 1 plus F with a flex of 51 and no weather radar required for departure. In case of any problem before V1, I call stop or go and I take the stopping actions. You monitor reverse green and decel. In case of an engine problem after V1, I fly, you clear the normal, we proceed straight in the axis to ATME, then we make it a left turn, proceed back to Echo Sierra Romeo. All that is set in the secondary flight plan. I put just back to Eskişehir, one turn in the holding, and then we can shoot the approach. If we do that, it will be above max landing weight. If we can wait, we'll just turn in the holding, 6 6,500 feet is the minimum holding altitude. If everything goes fine, I expect the departure initially on course, hopefully to get the direct to Yankee Alpha Alpha. There's no departure published, so that will have to be visual departure.
Check.
As far as the taxi is concerned, we'll be taxiing out from the apron, taking Charlie, backtracking on runway 27, 180 at the beginning, and then we can go take off on runway 27. Okay. Highest obstacle in the area, we see that the highest obstacle are mostly to the north, with a minimum safe altitude of 8,000 feet, and a grid going even to 10,700 if we go to the north.
Check.
Okay. So as you've probably been looking on the chart to find where Eskişehir is located, it is actually a private owned airport. It is owned by the University of Anadolu, which is situated just right next to the airport. They've been working on the runway infrastructure for already months. When we got here initially, they had just one runway, which was 30 meters wide. Now they've been upgrading the runway to 45 meters wide, 3 kilometers long. It will have a full ILS, so it will be able to get all the airplanes in, going from the 737 to Airbus to even 747s. They are building a big apron to the south of the airport with a new tower and a new terminal building. So it's quite an active airport on that side. This is a manual load sheet, and that's before we started getting all the computers. Here they're not equipped for computer printout. On this one, mainly what we are looking for is have the correct weight of the aircraft, and then we check which one would be the most limiting factor, being the maximum zero fuel weight, the maximum takeoff weight, or the maximum landing weight. Once we determine which one is the most limiting, we can go back down to the empty weight of the passengers, and we get to our zero fuel weight. To that we add the fuel, gives us our takeoff weight, minus the fuel that we'll be using for the trip, gives us our landing weight. What you find here is the distribution of the passengers, pointing to male, females, children or infants. Here is just observation given on the catering we have on board. We have a pantry code S, since it's a charter flight. We have no NOTOX, so no special dangerous goods that we have on board, or no notification to the captain that's anything special in the cargo. Here we start with the normal index, crew index that we have on the airplane, and depending on the mast that are or in the 4 or in the 5 or in compartment C or A, B, we have displaced every time. We just have to follow the arrows depicting to the weight. This is the arm that's moving on the aircraft, changing the load on the aircraft. So this permits us to give us, at the weight we have, a max zero fuel weight CG and a takeoff max CG with the fuel.
Beeline 10902 Anadolu, wind 270 knot, clear for takeoff, runway 27, good flight.
Clear for takeoff, Beeline 102. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
That's right.
Flex 51 SRS Focus Blue.
Checked. Just sent. One of the knots. V1 rotates. Positive climb.
Get up.
Get up. Sorry, hello, Beeline 1092, passing 3,200 feet, climbing flight level 140, airborne, execution.
Beeline 1092, Roger, I have radar contact. Continue climb flight level 140 direct to cargo route.
Direct to cargo, requesting direct to Yankee Alpha Alpha, still available, Beeline 109. Back to Istanbul, hello, Beeline 1092.
Beeline 1092, good day, on course, Wadan, climb flight level 260.
Climb level 260, confirm, direct which point?
Wadan.
Wadan, Victor Alpha Delta, Echo November.
Direct Wadan, Beeline 1092, thank you.
Istanbul, Iraqi 330, now heading 130.
Weather we have, no TAMS, nothing special. The routing we have is via Flora on the 11-5, dated of 9 July. It'll be mostly radar vectors for interception. If we proceed via Flora, it's on the 310 to 10 miles, and then on the 276 to intercept at 2,000 feet. Interception is done at 2,000 feet at 5.9 on the ILS, to cross the outer marker at 1,400 feet, to descend to the minima of 3,311 feet, for a runway elevation of 111 feet. In case of go round, we climb 2,000 feet. When passing 700 feet, we turn right onto a heading of 020 to intercept and follow the 251 inbound to Bruno. We can enter the hold at Bruno with a minimum holding altitude of 3,000 feet. Otherwise, we can start another approach out of Bruno.
Check.
Landing on the runway 25 right.
Beeline 1092, leaving flight level 300, flight level 240, Umupu.
Beeline 1092, land radar identified, hello.
So landing on the 25 right, we have a displaced threshold, and we expect to vacate via Bravo 6 or Bravo 7, whichever, and we'll cross-check for the gate with ACC as we come in. I'll fly it with flight director, constraints, autopilot until at least below flight level 290, and then we can just switch it off. It will be with no auto thrust, no auto brake, so it'll be manual flying. Questions?
No. Brussel, goedemiddag, Beeline 1092 is flight level 220 capsule.
Beeline 1092, Brussels control radar, contact runway 25 right.
25 right, 1092, dank u wel. Right, goedemiddag, Beeline 1092, passing flight level 105, standing 60 to Flora.
Beeline 1092, information Fox, vector sunny 25 right.
25 right, vectors, Beeline 1092.
Altiana France 630.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Contact the tower 120775.
Roger, 120775, sir. Bye-bye, sir.
Beeline 1092, left 280, descend to 3000 feet, near clear ILS 25 right.
Left heading 280, descending 3000 feet, clear ILS 25 right, Beeline 1092.
And 3000 por uur. Yep. Outstar. Check.
Beeline 1092, speed back 180.
Speed 180, Beeline 1092.
Beeline 1092, continue use 170 and contact the tower 120775.
Speed speed 170, 120.75, Beeline 1092, goedemiddag.
To the left, Belgian Air Force.
Goedemiddag, Beeline 1092, 25 right.
Portugal 604, wind 360 degrees 3 knots, runway 25 right, clear to land.
Land to 5 right, Portugal 604.
Hamburger and 7092, departure 126.625, goodbye.
Land to 6625, good day, thank you.
Then 1092, Tower, good afternoon, continue approach 25 right, number 2, surface wind calm.
25 right, Beeline 1092.
You have ITC. NEC.
Stanza for Yankee, surface wind calm, runway 20, clear for takeoff. Beeline 5 Whiskey Sierra Ilo via Echo 6, line up and wait, runway 20.
And the flaps full.
Yeah, Echo 6,
Speed
line up and wait,
checks. Flaps full. Auto brake is off. Beacon memo. Landing no low. Landing checklist completed.
Beeline 1092, surface wind calm, runway 25 right, clear to land.
clear land, runway 25 right, Beeline 1092.
Beeline 5 Whiskey Sierra, surface wind calm, runway 20, clear for takeoff.
Clear takeoff 20, Beeline 5 Whiskey Sierra.
Portugal 604, ground 118.050.
118050, Portugal 604, bye.
Mark X681 behind the landing Airbus, line up and wait, runway 25 right, behind.
Stand landing Airbus, line for wait, runway 25 right.
100 above.
Behind, Airmark 681.
300.
Minimums. Continue.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard. 5.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Diesel. Manual brakes. Bravo 6. Yeah. Bravo 6.
Beeline 5 Whiskey Sierra, departure 126.625, goodbye.
26625, Beeline 5 Whiskey.
Beeline 1092, Bravo 7, then inner 3.
Bravo 7, inner 3, Beeline 1092.
Brake fan up. lead is on.
Thank you. So, welcome back to Brussels. We left it this morning, back after about 8 hours day. It was quite a nice flight. You see that not much turbulence, a lot better weather in Eskişehir than in Brussels. Welcome back to the hazy and cloudy Brussels. I hope to see you again one of our flights, and enjoy your DVD.